Hi there, my friends. It's Miss M, and this is Be the Guide Part 3. If you've been watching Part 1 and 2, you know this is my version of how to be a communication guide, and I'm giving you some quick tips, tricks, hacks into fostering speech and language development in little ones. These are things that I have found useful as a preschool speech language pathologist, mainly with my nonverbal students or with students with those early verbal skills, maybe some first words coming in and things like that. But they are also things I've found useful in building the consistency of spoken language, building the consistency of language expression overall, no matter how that looks, if it's with gestures, if it's with sign language, if it's with visuals and picture communication, anything. So just keep that in mind as you go through this series. But today we're going to be talking about what we do, or what we can do, I should say, the strategies that we can use when little ones' words are just beginning, those first, early first words. So as I go down this list, just remember, you're doing great. Even if a couple of these things are things you're like, oh yeah, I do that, good job. And if this in any way helps you, or if this adds to your toolkit, yay, I'm glad. As I say, always keep it fun, always celebrate those small milestones. And this kind of goes into that. The very first tip is rewarding all attempts at communication, which you hear me say a lot, I'm sure. So with those first spoken words, you want to reward all attempts of the word. So sometimes, what we call word approximations, words that, if this, we know this is a pen, and if a child calls it a and is consistently saying for pen, and it's meaningful, then we reward that. We say, oh yeah, now, and when I say reward, I mean you acknowledge that they said pen and you're excited about it. You say, yes, that's a pen, or not even saying, yes, that's a pen, but you could say, a pen, and just acknowledging that, yes, they said it, you understand them, and that can help build the confidence to keep saying pen and to then, start saying why for right and things like that. So we want to acknowledge that, instead of trying to require the correct production of that word, because they're still developing. The next thing too is we recast and we model. Recast, model, recast, model. When I say recast, I mean we say it over the correct way. Like you heard me do with the yes, a pen. And then you model the expansion. So, yes, I have a pen. Yes, this is a pen. Yes, pen writes. I'm writing with a pen. You just model the expansion of the language rather than stopping at pen. It's like the old improv yes and. You say yes and you expand. You add more information. You add more meaning to what a pen is. You add what it can do. You build a connection through a pen or anything else, right? We're not just writing a pen. You take what we call maybe more simplistic language. Sometimes you call it telegraphic language. So cargo. You want to make sure that you are, again, modeling that expansion. So if a child says car go, you say, yes, the car is going. You add in those little morphemes, those little ing endings, those past tense eds, those plural s's, possessive s's. You add those in. But again, you don't require the correct grammar. You just add it in to keep modeling that language. So that's also a form of expansion when we're adding those little things. You can grow the vocabulary. So, if you're working on, let's just stick with one thing here. So you've got a pen. You can expand the vocabulary. Oh, and I have a pencil. Oh, a marker. These all write, and kind of start building in those. Oh yeah, all this belongs to the things that write, that really functional thing. And you hold them the same way or whatever. And then you can also model new sentence forms too. So, pen, yes, I write with a pen. oh, the pen is yellow, and give it different attributes and things like that. Another thing to remember in this kind of recasting or modeling the correct production of things, when you're modeling, if the child is using the incorrect grammar or production of the sound or whatever, you're not requiring that the child repeat it again. So you're not saying, yes, the car is going after the child. Let's say the child said car go. And you say, yes, the car is going. Now you say the car is going. Don't. Just model it. And it makes life a little bit easier, doesn't it? Because we want to acknowledge the attempts at communication. We want to make them enjoy it more. We don't want to put too many demands on correcting incorrect productions. And if you think about it in a way, it kind of makes sense, because you're like, yeah, I don't want them to feel like they might, or I don't want them to fear doing it wrong again. I'd rather them be more confident and keep trying, because as they keep trying, they'll learn, they'll pick up on those nuances in our language, all those little parts that make things different, add meaning to our language. So we just keep modeling, model, but don't require repetition. When a child is expressing ideas, we want to add new information, and I kind of already went over this. So let's say you're outside and the child, says flower. Great. And that's awesome though, because they're making a connection with you by pointing out, just labeling flower. But now we can try and, oh yeah, the flower is pretty, or the flower smells good. Smell it, and then you can add some actions in there. Oh, the flower, yeah, it grows with some water and sunlight. And so you're giving all these new ideas to one thing, and the child realizes, oh my gosh, look what I just opened up. I opened up a whole can of worms, right? But I opened up this whole interaction by sharing my thought. So now I want to share more of my ideas and thoughts. So you're giving that positive reinforcement, you're giving that new information to keep expanding their receptive language, their expressive language, their social skills, and overall their enjoyment for communication. All right, friends, I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this little series on Be the Guide. I'm sure I'll have more to come with Be the Communication Guide as I go along. And if you ever have any questions or suggestions for videos, feel free to reach out. I love getting new suggestions and ideas from you guys. So I will talk to you next time. Bye.